Baseplan Presents video features 7 different ways to create a rental contract in Baseplan Enterprise, focusing on the following areas: search screen, add new rental contract, new contract wizard, planning calendar, equipment availability, duplicate rental contract, convert rental quote to rental contract.
Okay, so I'm currently logged into Baseplan Enterprise, and we're going to go through all the different ways that you can actually create a rental contract. Now, some of these ways might be the fastest possible method to get a contract out the door. Another way might be looking at more planning the equipment availability and adding more delivery information that needs to go along with the equipment as well. So we're going to start off by going for the fastest possible way. So this is actually under the rental counter module, and this is in a screen called the search screen. The search screen allows me to filter on a customer and also filter on equipment and then convert that to a rental contract. So I can choose my customer up here. So I can type in Polaris, for instance, and then I can choose the particular site that we want to allocate this rental contract for. So that'll derive the rates automatically. So I can say maybe it's the Parkway extension. And then this description here will then search all of my available equipment and allow me to then save that as a line and then convert it over. So if I was to put in here, for example, like a boom, for example, it would search everything in the system that has boom in it in the model, and then I can start selecting the lines in here. Now I could make this a bit more narrow, and I can actually maybe call out the model itself, and I'll pull that in, or I can also just filter on the category type make model here as well. Now, the way this works is if I click on this particular line, it'll actually show me the packages that will be assigned to this as well. So we can also pull through those rates automatically. And you can see here that the day, week, monthly rate is derived based upon that site that we selected. Now, what's going to happen is I can actually clear this and it will actually save that particular line. So maybe the customer's after some additional equipment. So I can put in here maybe a 1.2. And it'll pull through anything to do with 1.2 again, and maybe they're after a forklift as well. And so you can see here, if I hit clear again, that'll save those 2 lines. So you can enter that information quite quickly, and then down the bottom here, you can either record a lost sale, maybe price, availability, whatever the reason is they didn't want to proceed, and record that lost sale, or I can actually click on the Create RC here, and that'll actually convert that information automatically to a rental contract in a reservation state. What it's not going to do is it won't allocate the serial number. At this point in time, it's only recording the make model combination. So you can see here, we've got a rental contract that's been created in a delivery status, and then the 2 lines here have been added automatically, but there's no equipment code associated with that. So someone then needs to go out and scan the piece of equipment or allocate it through Baseplan to fulfill that detail line. So that's the first way. The second way of doing it is more through just the rental contract screen itself. So if I went into rental and then equipment rental, it's the most basic way where every screen in Baseplan has an add new button. So I can go up here and click on the add new, and I can start working my way through that particular contract like I was just doing just then. So I can say Polaris again, I can choose the particular site that we're dealing with, and then start filling out the information that I need. So I can say, when's it due back? It's in 2 days, and I can hit save. Now that's going to save a rental contract, but then now I need to go up to actions and then add the details in here. And once I start filling that information out, so maybe we wanted, maybe this forklift again, I can hit save. And if we go back 1 screen, we can see here it adds that detail line in there. So just another method to doing it. Now, normally what we would recommend is people are going through this particular process to look at using the new contract wizard down the bottom here, because it will actually automate a lot of those steps rather than you having to go up to each of those menus and clicking different items. So if I clicked on the new contract wizard, so this is the 3rd way of doing it, it'll pull up a screen over the top rather than just working on that back screen. And so I can type in Polaris construction like I had before. I can choose my site, And then I can start working through the relevant information here. So I could say which particular contact we're dealing with. So Chris Nagy, and I can actually update that person's contact details through this process and fill out that information. But if I hit OK now, rather than just saving that, it takes me directly to the add rental item screen, where I can then start typing in maybe another forklift as such, and then save that line. Now the difference here is once I save this and I go back one screen, it's going to automatically take me to the delivery screen now. So I can start updating the information about how the equipment needs to be delivered, where it's been picked up, whether it's external drivers that are taking it out, whatever it might be. And that will actually then flow through to either our transport module, or the person can actually just go through here and actually complete the delivery on the fly as well. So if I hit OK now, you can see here exactly the same layout. It's in a delivery status. The difference here is that the status is delivery required. It previews the rental contract automatically. And on the movement details, there's actually an unactioned delivery that needs to be completed. So it's just an easier way to sort of automate some of those steps. So it might be something that you should look into to potentially looking at. Now, the next few ways are more ways that you can actually visually start reserving equipment. So under the rental module, we also have the planning calendar. So the planning calendar will allow me to visually see what's available for rent, and then start reserving equipment from that screen as well. So what happens is when I open up the planning calendar, it gives me this filter header at the top, and I can start typing in here like an excavator, for example, and it will pull through all of my serialized items. It will show me my my branch that is allocated to. It will show me my rental availability, and it will show me my service availability as well. Now we can see here we've got the various colors that have occurred, and I can actually go up here and change these colors around with all the different statuses that can be pulled through. We'll do a separate video around the planning calendar in a bit more detail. Now, in terms of actually creating a rental contract, I can actually choose the line that I want here, drag this across for the period, for the date that I want, and then start that same process. So I could go into Valaris Construction again, choose the particular site that we want, choose our contact, update their information, hit OK. And you can see here, it pre-fills all that information automatically for me. And then I can also add in the associated items down the bottom if I wanted to. And when I hit save, it's gonna give me a warning that this is coming off a service. If I go back now, you can see here it's reserved that piece of equipment. So that's just in the system waiting for someone to then action that. So it's gonna be an upcoming rental, and someone needs to work through on the transport side to either organize the delivery, organize external transport, or the customer's coming to pick it up. So it is a good way of basically doing those reservations on the fly as well. Now, another way that we can actually do this is if we go into the equipment module, and if we go down to the equipment availability screen. Now, same sort of logic, we've got all these filters at the top here, and we've got our types down here. So I can start putting in, say, excavator again, and I can choose on the top that I want, and it will show me all the pieces of equipment that are available. And we'll do a full session on this as well. But what I can actually do here is I can actually select one of these lines here and actually reserve the equipment from this screen as well. Or if I wanted to, I can actually go through onto that planning screen. But if I go on reserve, I can actually add this to an existing rental contract, or I can actually create a brand new contract as well. So I say no, and then same deal, I can work through and put that item in there like I did just before. I won't go through the whole way again. It's exactly the same steps that I showed you just before. So that's another way of doing it. What we can also do is, let's say we were looking at this particular unit. If I double click on this, it'll take me through to the equipment ledger itself, which is where our master record is. And I can actually go up to actions and reserve the equipment from here as well. So I can hit reserve, same sort of deal. Did you want to add it to an existing contract? No. and then I can start filling out information again, just like I had before. So there's a few different ways of doing it that way. Now, a common way is people might call up and ask for the same piece of equipment that they had last time. So if you can't find that particular rental contract, what you can actually do is, let's say we've got this one here, for example, I can actually go up to actions and I can go duplicate contract. So if I do this, yep, I want to duplicate it, and it'll derive all the rates and everything. And you can see here, it copies the contract automatically with that particular customer, and then I can start adding in the detail lines again as needed. So it's just another way of doing it. So there is a lot of ways of actually creating rental contracts in Baseplan. And I think it really comes down to making sure that you're doing it the right way that is best fit for your business as well. Now, the last way that I want to show is if we just go into rental quotes. If you are using the quote screen that is separate to the rental contract, we can actually manage our quotes in here, and we can actually click on this create contract. So we've got an existing rental quote that's in the system, and rather than copying that information across, we can actually just go create rental contract. It just confirms the delivery address. We don't want to deliver the items on the contract. And that will actually take all the information on that rental quote and convert it over onto a rental contract. And we can also copy things over like the standard notes as well. So we can see here that status changes to converted. And if I go view, I can actually view that rental contract now, which will have all that information pre-filled. As you can see here, the detail lines. So look, there's a lot of ways that it can be done, and hopefully this is sort of giving you a few ideas of what can be used. And what I've done is I've actually saved on my favorites down here all the different screens that I used as well. And yeah, if you have any questions or ideas on future topics, please leave a comment in the section below, and I hope to see everyone in next week's session.